Well, hello and welcome. This is our Thursday roundtable discussion, and we're talking about what's your strategy. So our theme for the week has been strategy, and this is your opportunity to join us and take an opportunity to think for yourself about the strategy that you're running in your business, maybe in your life. So I'm going to kick this off, Guy, with this general thought about strategy. And one of the big things that I come back to is something I learned back maybe as early as elementary school, junior high, high school. And it was that there's actually a strategy to never lose at tic-tac-toe. So when I think about strategy, I start to think about games and gamification, but not gamification in the way that most people think about gamification, right? Where you get rewards and it encourages you to play the game longer and all of those types of things. But gamification from the standpoint of game theory, of John Nash, right? If anybody ever saw the movie A Beautiful Mind, this is a mathematician who came up and developed a lot of things about game theory and the strategy at which you have the optimal game play. And so coming back to my tic-tac-toe example, I encourage you, take an opportunity to Google this. It's worth a 3-minute Google, if you will, and look up tic-tac-toe strategy. And just take an opportunity to watch. I found a 2.5-minute video just to refresh myself this morning about the strategy that if you play first in tic-tac-toe, you get to go first, and you do the first move and you follow this strategy, in some technical terms, you would call it an algorithm, you'll never lose at tic-tac-toe. You might get a cats game. You might get multiple cats games. That's where you tie, or you're going to win. Those are the only two outcomes available when you implement this strategy. So when we're talking about this topic of strategy, I wanted to start somewhere simple. And there's nothing more simple than tic-tac-toe, but you can take it up to the next game. Anybody who ever watched the movie 21 or read the book like Beat the Dealer, right? Simeon Dukac, he was an MIT student, created a program, a club, and they played 21, okay? We all know blackjack is a game in Las Vegas. I'm not personally a gambler, but I love statistics and mathematics. And they played what was called basic strategy. Basic strategy in the game of 21 is the optimal gameplay in order to at least increase your odds of winning at closer to where the house is. The house still has a competitive advantage, but you're going to be able to play the game longer by playing basic strategy. Now, in the case of the MIT blackjack team, again, something you can look up. There's plenty of books about this topic. It's really worth the study if you're diving into the topic of strategy, okay? They were actually compounding two strategies together. If anybody knows it, throw it in the chat what the other strategy was, but it was basic strategy. And if you ever go to Vegas, they give you these little cards you can work from and you can play off of that. And they compounded that with the strategy of counting cards. Now, a lot of people think counting cards is illegal. No, it's just frowned upon because it actually changes the advantage when you're doing it with basic strategy from the house to you. And over time, you're guaranteed to win. And if you've read Simeon Dukac's book or watched 21, you'll come to realize that the MIT blackjack team and other blackjack teams around the world took Vegas and other casinos for millions of dollars just by compounding those two strategies together. So why am I talking about gambling and tic-tac-toe? It's because strategy is important in almost everything that we do. And if you don't have a strategy going into stuff, if you're just implementing a plan, again, I want to come back to something that Edwin Britt says all the time. You're being a wandering generality instead of being meaningfully specific. And every time we have an opportunity in every aspect to be meaningfully specific in what we're doing. And we want to layer on a strategy with all of that. So with those examples being said, the question you have to ask yourself, if you looked into the tic-tac-toe strategy, maybe you searched for the MIT blackjack team, what is your strategy? And guys, this could be your strategy in business. You have to start thinking of the business that you are in as a game. And what is the optimal gameplay? I know, Jeff, you're a coach, and we're going to open this up for roundtable discussion in just a minute, but you probably go into games with a specific strategy. If you know your opponent and what they're doing, right? There's this mental aspect that you come in with. I know Guy and I are ex-athletes. We played football. When we would go into that week's game, we weren't strategizing about the championship game. We were strategizing about the game and the opponent that we were facing that week. Guys, if you're going in to interact with a client, maybe you're going to interact with a prospect for the first time, did you know you could go in with a strategy, right? And the strategy are these certain types of rules that you create and you come up with and you optimize over time that create the optimal gameplay for whatever you're doing. Again, same thing in life. It doesn't always have to be in business. This could be in life. Maybe you want to lose weight and you create a plan. Well, you have a strategy around implementing that plan. So this is why strategy is so important and it must not be overlooked, and why strategy has been this week's theme. So with that being said, Guy, I don't know if you have anything to add. We're just trying to keep this to a short training. And the whole goal of this, for those of you who are watching the live or maybe watching this in replay on our short live trainings, is to get you thinking about the importance of this in determining the outcome of what you're working on. And if you're anything like me, you want to try and control a little bit of the outcome. You want to try and at least guarantee or increase the odds of the result that you're looking for. And if you go into it with the right strategy, you can do that. So Guy, if you have anything to add, we can add that, and then we'll wrap this thing up and we'll open it up for a live roundtable conversation. Look, if you're watching this and you want to join the conversation, make sure to join the live Zoom. Maybe you're on YouTube right now watching this live. Join the Zoom link and you can get in onto the conversation, or join us in the future for future conversations. So Guy, over to you.
I think when talking about strategy, it's probably one of the most important things that you have in your business. And understanding that, the most effective type of business strategy is one that can pivot. And sorry, my door's open. The little one is here talking. Actually, she's getting ready to come in. But being able to pivot and understand that the customer is always evolving and changing, and being able to identify where are different paths that I can interact. And, we were forced online a couple of years ago. Everyone was sort of forced online. Zoom blew up from that standpoint. People are meeting here. They know that this is a comfy, safe place that is seamless. I don't have to reach out and shake anyone's hand. I can't hug people anymore. And if you get to know ER and I, we're huggers. So that's just a little bit of a different business strategy that people had to implement over these last few years, and understanding that a lot of strategy really isn't just focusing on being good at that strategy. It's just being better. We've talked about it, being 1% better every day, or being better than I was yesterday, and trying to compound those different types of things over time. But looking at from that aspect of strategy and who is my target market? Who am I talking to? Who am I trying to get in front of from whatever my business is? We talked about it yesterday, ER, from the standpoint of when people are in business, you all have a product or a service or an opportunity that you're offering. And you're needing to get in front of the correct people. And what have people done since day one in any type of business is they've shared. And that's what sales and marketing are at its core. To why they are deemed sales and marketing is it essentially could be, what is your sharing department doing? What are you sharing to enable potential customers to learn more about what you're doing, or to pick you over someone else? And I think we really have to step back from that strategy and say, what is my sharing entailing? What am I sharing? What is my business? What do I do? Am I a networker? Am I selling energy? Do I sell a nutraceutical? I'm selling it from the aspect that most people have been doing since technology has come about, is saying, well, just go to a website. Yes, you're sharing that website, but is it an effective way of sharing that website? It's just a little bit of a status quo shift. We talked Monday, status quo, of shifting the way that we share. There's a bridge. There's the handout. There's the way that can be more effective in your sharing. An analytical aspect of knowing, what gets measured gets managed. If I'm sharing information about this element and I have no clue what's happening, if I'm handing out a business card and I have no clue what's happening with that, why the hell am I handing out business cards? If I'm handing out flyers, if I've got a website and I have no analytics to it, why am I using these types of things? It's just eating away at my piggy bank. In fact, what we just have to do, and this is the mind-numbing thing that happens, is the simplicity of what Elify is really just that sharing mechanism. Mm-hmm. It's that art gallery that ER talks about, where you get to share your art. Everyone has art. That's your product, your service, your opportunity. Ruben, it's your art. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it's sharing those to people. But if we're restricting ourselves on saying, I don't know what to share, then what business are we in? If my primary business is, I don't know, there's a pot over here, pottery, and I'm not sharing information out about me doing pottery. I'm sorry, I don't do pottery. If I'm not sharing information out about the artist who made that pot, then if I were hired by her from strategy to help her improve her sales, what good am I doing if I'm just sitting here with a technology and not utilizing it to the fact of, I'm going to take this, I'm going to create what I think is an amazing landing page, and I'm going to share that to others. Is that amazing landing page cohesive? Does it work? Does the customer resonate with it? Well, if you're not someone who likes pottery, then probably not. So I'm not forcing this to anybody. I'm finding individuals who have those types of interests. There are search mechanisms out there where you can find people looking for what you have and what you can provide. Social media provides you groups and pages where people are looking for what you have to offer. But it's getting that strategy out there to understand implementation. We talk implementation, strategy and implementation. They're cohesive. If you've got a strategy and you don't implement it, nothing's going to happen. But you've got to have a strategy. You have to have an idea. If I'm in real estate, I have a strategy of getting this house out on the market so people know about it. Yeah. What am I going to do with that? ER, you have the movie A Beautiful Mind. You have a beautiful mind from the aspect of understanding strategy. And we had probably hinted on it, on what's going to be happening in the future, yeah, on strategy sessions happening within Elify. But being able to say, hey, we can take what's in ER's mind from the aspect of building a card. I know you did it with Anna and her group, to saying, here's a strategy of building a landing page. And it's generic. It's a generic strategy, but it can be implemented by everybody. But the implementation is going to be the key. We can set it there. We can put it into the affiliate assets. We can put it online and say, here it is, share this. But until someone shares it, it's just going to sit there collecting dust, right? It's an antique type thing. It's sat there collecting dust. So yeah, I get a little passionate about it and understand that, if business, if sales and marketing at its core is sharing, Elify to me is the pivotal element, solution that can help anyone share anything. Platforms are out there for people to share on. Are they doing it effectively? I don't want to see some people's posts on Facebook. I don't want to see how they do those different types of posts. But if they would effectively use a solution that then they can understand what's happening when they're sharing it, it's more intriguing. If I see that there's something that can lead potential sales, grow the pipeline for that individual, it's more intriguing for someone to click and understand what's happening there. So that's my soapbox. I know we were going to keep it to 10 minutes.
I know. I want to close this out with just giving one strategy. Okay. We asked you to think about strategy. We asked you to discover your strategy. Look, if you're a promoter out here, if you're doing something, I want to talk about one strategy that Danielle, one of our influencers, implemented that yielded 200 prospects with one post. Okay. 200 prospects with one post. Anybody want to see that in their business? Right. I'm going to talk about it because she talked about it within her Elify ambassadorship. She did it on LinkedIn. So we're talking about a single location, 200 people from a single location from a single post. All she did is she went into her LinkedIn and she created a new title or a new role that she was involved in. Think about this, right? You get a list what you do and who you are in LinkedIn. LinkedIn is about your sort of business profile. I do this, I do this, I do this. And she just said, look, I'm an Elify ambassador now, right? What does that mean? That means I stand behind this brand. I promote this brand. I believe in this brand. So she said, I'm an Elify ambassador. I started from present, or I've been doing this for 4 months. She wrote a little bit of a blurb about that, right? She put in a few image posts. One of them was some of the calls that she's been on, and she posted it out there. And she's connected with a lot of people on LinkedIn. And what happened? People reached out to her. Okay. Now here's what I want to call out, and I'll get back to the outreach to her and what happened and what the result was and all of these things. What do you typically see on social media as a strategy that 90%, or let's do the 80-20 rule, 80% of people are doing? That is a strategy that doesn't work. It's much like 80% of the world uses business cards, or 90% of the world uses business cards, and they just don't work. They're out there spamming everybody. Buy from me, do this is it, in your face. And what is that resulting in? It's not buying products. It's like defriending people and leaving groups and doing all these things. Guys, you can have a strategy that doesn't work. Guess what? If you realize it doesn't work because of measurability, you stop doing it and you start doing what works. And that's what Guy's talking about with implementation. So she posts a new role in her LinkedIn that she's an Elify ambassador. Look, if you're part of our affiliate program and you haven't let the world know that you're even an affiliate or an ambassador of our brand, you're missing out on the opportunity. And guess what? 200 people from the people that she's connected with reached back out to her to congratulate her on her new role, ask more questions about that role. We're curious about what an ambassador to a brand does and how she became one, and asked her about them becoming an ambassador of the Elify brand. Think about that. Now, we hear about attraction marketing all the time. Don't you think that's a great strategy for attraction marketing? Or do you think she should have just DM'd everybody, hey, buy this product, buy this product, buy this product? Guys, there are strategies that work and strategies that don't. We just need to find the ones that work. And that's the whole role. So what we're going to do now, we've been in for 20 minutes. Sorry for going long if you've been watching this in live or replay. And we're going to close this down and have a roundtable discussion. I see the hands going up already. And we're going to talk about strategy. So with that being said, Guy, thank you so much.